I just got home. I'm putting groceries away and my hair's a mess because it rained really hard earlier today and I walked out and it just rained on me and so my hair's a mess. Along with playing music and everything else that I do, I started substitute teaching again part-time. And I haven't done it in years, but I said, man, I could use the extra cash and I'm good with kids. I'm good with kids and teaching sort of comes naturally to me. Today I went to this elementary school. The job that I had signed up for was to fill in for PE, physical ed, right? Sports, athletics, stuff like that. But I get there and their staff in the front office is kind of scrambling. Sometimes, even though you can sign up for a certain job, once you get there, they might say, hey, we need you in the second grade class. The teacher didn't show, or you just fill in where they need you. And so I get there and they go, you know what? We're not going to have you in the PE today. We're going to have you somewhere else. Please hold on for a couple minutes. I said, oh, okay. So they're scrambling. Another staff member walks in. They start talking amongst themselves. They say, well, we should put him here. No, well, we actually need him here. And then another one comes by and they say, we could really use him in, and I just hear whispers. And they say, well, follow me. We're going to need you in ISS, in resource, ISS. ISS means in-school suspension. As a kid who used to get in trouble in school a lot, somebody got in trouble. Whatever student is going to be in in-house suspension, they got in trouble, not trouble sufficient to get them suspended and sent home from school, but enough that they're going to separate them from the rest of the population and have schoolwork and whatever. Just separate them and be in another room for the rest of the day, essentially. And so I get there, I hear a screaming little girl in the hallway, and I go there and I see her. She's screaming and she's hitting staff and she's just not having a good go at it. So I'm there and I'm walking and she sees me. I'm new in her environment. In the middle of her tantrum and screaming and crying and hitting, I see her kind of like eyeball me a little bit, and I'm just standing there as the other staff is trying to talk to her and doing different techniques to de-escalate the situation. I'm just there. I'm new in her environment, and I know enough to know that sometimes there's times where you need to step in, and there's times where it's good to kind of sit back and just watch and observe and learn. So that's what I did. I said, well, she's not hurting herself. Okay, they seem to have it under control. I'm just gonna watch and learn and see what's going on so that I can be prepared for the rest of the day. And they finally get her in the in-house suspension room. It's me, her, another staff, and she's having a fit. I'm talking throwing chairs, hitting the staff member, taking off her shoes and throwing them. She's just like not having it, screaming at the top of her lungs. After talking with a staff member, I learned that she has, I'll just put it this way, she has some diagnosed behavioral, I don't want to call it disorder, but she's just got some stuff she's diagnosed with formally, some behavioral things. A few years back, I would sub a lot and I was a parapro in a SPED class, special needs. I've dealt with everything from autistic, nonverbal, aggressive. I've been bit, kicked, punched, had things thrown at me. I've dealt with all types of physical and mental disabilities. And so as she's telling me, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm kind of in my head, just getting in that mental space to be ready to deal with anything. At one point, that staff member leaves. It's me and the child now. And she's still in the middle of her fit. And if anything, it's gotten worse because it's me and her and she doesn't know me. And I haven't said much to her. I'm just standing there, making sure she doesn't hurt herself and providing space. I'm going to get woo-woo with y'all. And what I mean with providing space is not just giving her physical space, but also providing space in here and in here. So I'm sitting there on a chair. She scratched me at this point on my arm. Chairs are all over the place. Stuff is all over the place. And she's sitting there on the floor and she's just screaming and crying. And I don't think I gave her the reaction she thought I was gonna give her. Meaning I didn't yell, I didn't do anything. I just literally sat there and I essentially meditated. I just sat there, breathed, and witnessed it. As I see her energy shift, as she's looking at me, kind of inquisitively, like, I'm assuming in her mind, she's like, who is this guy? What is he doing? He's not doing anything. He's not screaming at me. What's going on? I see her kind of breaking down. And I point at my arm, the scratches on my forearm. I said, that hurt. That hurt my feelings. She's already been crying and screaming, but she looks like she's hurt. She looks apologetic almost. And she kind of looks at me, starts crying. She's like, I miss my mom. I said, I miss my mom too. And then she starts crying, but she's crying differently. And then I said, it's okay. Come here. It's okay. Like, I'm not going to hurt you. And she comes up to me and then she gives me this big hug. And I start patting her on the back. I said, it's okay. I miss my mom too. That's normal. You're going to see her after school, but we have to be here today. We've got some work to do and I'm going to help you, okay? And she's like, okay. So I'm there patting her shoulder as she's kind of catching her breath and calming down. And then I said, look, let's clean up and I'm going to help you. Okay, she's like, okay. I said, can you pick up that chair that you threw? Yeah. I said, okay. So I pick up the other chair. We get some stuff together, get her desk, get her work. I said, all right, I'll make you a deal. You do some of the worksheets that your teacher gave you, and then we can draw and play, and then we can get back to the worksheets, and I'll set a timer, and blah, blah, blah. I kind of talked her through the game plan, and she's like, yes. I said, okay. So she comes down, So can you please sit down? I said, thank you. Can I help you put on your shoes? Because at this point she'd taken them off and thrown them at me. So I help her. And let's just say that within an hour, we became best friends. And I can't help but know that that's because I didn't, how do I put this? I didn't yell. I didn't judge her for that. I just was just witnessing neutral what was going on. And I think she could feel that I was there for her. You know what I mean? And the rest of the day, honestly, went great. There were a few times where a teacher relieved me because I had to go to the restroom or something or eat my lunch. And walk in the hallway, every teacher that I ran into, is everything okay? How is she doing? And I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, what do you mean it's fine? Yeah, she's fine. She's fine right now. She's probably coloring actually. Oh, okay. And then at one point the teacher comes in and kind of walks in the door. She goes, we have this math test. Can you give it to her? It's okay if she doesn't do it. And I said, okay. So I said, do you like math? I like math. She's like, yeah. I said, well, look, let's take a break from drawing. Let's do this math test. And the teacher had told me, she said, read her the question 2-3 times and then just have her do her thing and she's gonna do the best that she can. So we whizzed through that math test. Man, I read her the instructions, boom, and she, smart. And I kept telling her, you're so smart, you got this, you're doing great. We sped through that. And we did it so fast that at one point I had somebody relieve me so I could take the test back to the teacher. I said, oh, here's the test. She goes, you're done already? I go, look, yeah, unless I missed something. She goes, oh my God. How's it going in there? I said, it's going great. It's going great right now. By the way, she aced the math test. I saw her fill in the answers. So I don't know why I'm posting this except to say that, yes, I have my plans for my music. Yes, I have my plans for my Patreon. Yes, I have my plans for the horses and being in physical shape and all this other stuff. But sometimes the universe, I think, has you where you need to be. And today it was helping this little girl just get through the day and feel like she was cared for. And I'm grateful. So right now I'm gonna cook this chicken. This is a really long video. I'm looking at the time already, but I wanted to share this. So provide space for yourself, and it's important to witness and not judge. And sometimes meditation comes in handy in the places that you least expect.